Hello, viewers. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. It has been well over a month after the results of the US presidential elections came out, and President-elect Donald Trump has nominated some of the cabinet members as of now. And today I would like to discuss about a couple of the nominations that the President-elect Donald Trump has made so far. The ones that are very important in my view are the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense. So I would like to talk about those two nominations. So first, from the Secretary of State nomination perspective, he has nominated Marco Rubio, a three-term senator from Florida, and he's a mainstream conservative, he's a mainstream Republican, and I happen to believe that this is a very good nomination. Here was a guy who is a Cuban American. His parents came from Cuba in 1956, and he has worked his way through. He had studied hard, and he came up through the ranks from the Florida legislature and became a senator in Florida from Florida. And he's a three-term senator now, and he's more in the line of a mainstream Republican who understands foreign policy, who's serious about foreign policy, and he's also serious about diplomacy. So I think from that angle, Marco Rubio is a very good choice for the Secretary of State. And I sincerely hope that the Democrats and Republicans in the Senate will quickly move on his nomination and finally approve the nomination in the Senate after it comes up for the Senate confirmation after January 20th, 2025. And moreover, the other things that goes in favor of Marco Rubio is here is somebody who also wants to become a president one day. So that would mean that he would get much needed experience in terms of diplomacy and foreign policy. And this will also bode well for Marco Rubio for his future as well. I have a feeling that he might run in 2028 or 2032. It looks like 2032 is more like it than 2028, but nevertheless, he is one person that is that's an upcoming senator, or he's a three-term senator, but still he's someone that the Republicans are looking for to nominate for presidency sometime in the future. And him along with Nikki Haley are the two stars in the Republican Party that can potentially win the presidential nomination in the future. But Marco Rubio, by picking up this post or accepting this position, I think he's in a much better position to run for the presidency in the future. So that's also another plus point for choosing Marco Rubio. So from a Secretary of State perspective, this is a very good choice. We really require someone who's serious in this position, because diplomacy is going to be very important because of the ongoing wars in multiple places around the world. And I think that overall, Donald Trump has picked up a very good person to run the State Department. And that, as I mentioned, that even Democrats like Chuck Schumer and others would be able to just quickly confirm this nomination. Then let's go into the next one, which is equally or even more important than the Secretary of State, is the Secretary of Defense. This is again a very pivotal position. We are at a very important moment in the global new world order, I would call, in terms of wars in multiple places. And as you could see that just this week, and there was a huge turmoil in Syria, and the rebel forces took over Syria, and we do not know what is the fallout of that. So that is going to be another ongoing disturbance, or I will call ongoing conflict that might escalate in that country as well. So we have the ongoing wars, we have this destabilized Syria, and the Secretary of Defense position is going to be very, very important. In this, I feel that Donald Trump, the president-elect, has not made a good choice. He has chosen Pete Hegseth, and he has not made a good choice because on the face of it, it looks as though that Pete Hegseth is not very serious about defense policy or even very serious about Defense Department. Granted, he did serve in Guantanamo Bay, he did serve in the military, but he has not been active in the Defense Department circles from 2014 onwards. He has been a commentator for cable news and he has gotten other jobs. But that's not the reason that I am saying that he's not a. That's probably one reason, but that's not a big reason that why I feel he's not a good fit. There are some serious allegations about and accusations about him being drunk at work, and even he himself has sort of admitted that. The reason I'm saying that is because he has gone to the Senate offices to meet some senators last week, and he has pledged that he will not drink at work. That pretty much proves that there is some history there that he has done that before. So there is no reason for a cabinet nominee to go and talk to the senators and say that, I will not drink at work. The cabinet nominees normally do not do that kind of, they cannot go and talk like that. They do not generally go and talk like that. So that means that he has had some issues in terms of alcoholism, it looks like. And the other issue is there are some serious allegations and accusations of sexual misconduct at work. Granted that he was not being charged with anything, but apparently there are some talk about him having settled that out of court. So again, this is another issue that sort of disqualifies him from being a cabinet appointee for any department, but it's for the defense, it's even more important in the Defense Department. And so I think that's another reason I feel that he's not a good pick for the Defense Department. Then there are other issues in terms of his views on women in the military performing combat roles. As recently as 5-6 weeks ago, he has come out and said that women do not deserve a place in the military in the combat role. And that in and of it itself is a big problem for me because both Republican administrations and Democratic administrations have allowed women to serve in the military in the combat role. In fact, around 17% of the workforce in the defenses are women, and some of them are actually performing a role in the combat forces. So that's a big troublesome thing in my view, and this is even more troublesome because he is going to go to the Senate and talk to some of the women who have served in the military. I will give you two examples. One from each party. Joni Ernst, a senator from Iowa, she has served in combat forces. So she has been in the front line of the military, and she is a Republican. And so how is he going to convince her that women should not serve in the military in the combat role? And that's from the Republican side. Joni Ernst is a very distinguished Republican. Then you have, from the Democratic side, you have Tammy Duckworth, who is a senator from Illinois, and she has also served in the military in the combat role, and she has lost both her legs performing such a role. So how is he going to convince her that women do not deserve a place in the military performing combat roles? So I think in these multiple angles, Pete Hegseth has actually disqualified himself. And I do not know why Donald Trump wanted to choose this person, who on the face of it doesn't look to be qualified in terms of his knowledge about Defense Department or in terms of his current experience in the Defense Department. He has been a political commentator from 2014 onwards. That's almost 10 years. So he's not been in touch with the Defense Department. So that's the first reason. And the other reasons are these kind of accusations about his personal behavior. So it's granted that Trump should choose or would choose a conservative. Everybody knows that because he won the elections. Elections have consequences. But if he's truly looking for someone to serve in the Defense Department as Secretary of Defense, You could even look at some of the senators that I mentioned, which is Joni Ernst. She has served in the military, and she can be a good defense secretary if Donald Trump is really looking for a conservative. She's a true conservative. In fact, she's also a social conservative. Some of the Democrats might not like her views on social issues, but nevertheless, as I mentioned, elections have consequences, and I feel Democrats would be more than inclined to vote for Joni Ernst than Pete Hegseth. And other Republicans also will be more than happy to vote for Joni Ernst. And by picking Joni Ernst, she will also become the first woman defense secretary in the US. So that itself will be an historic nomination, just like how the Secretary of State nomination of Marco Rubio is historic in the sense he will be the first Cuban American to hold that post. By picking Joni Ernst, it'll also show that Donald Trump is very serious, that he wants to treat women fairly, and it'll also be an historic cabinet appointment in the sense that she'll be the first defense secretary in the U.S. So, if Donald Trump is really looking for some qualified candidates, there are several of them. I just chose Joni Ernst just for the fact that she had served in the military in the combat role, and she's a distinguished senator from Iowa, socially conservative, and she ticks all the boxes. And I think it will be an historic nomination if Donald Trump wants to choose her instead of Pete Hegseth. Coming back to Pete Hegseth, it doesn't look as though that he will get enough support in the Senate, but you never know. Republicans have got 53 Senate majority, Democrats have only 47. And as you know, that even if on a 50-50 Senate, Vice President J.D. Vance can very easily break the tie. So Republicans can afford to, or Donald Trump can afford to lose 3 senators, Republican senators, and still they can push this nomination through. But that'll send a wrong signal to the Defense Department, and I sincerely hope that Donald Trump changes his view and chooses somebody like Joni Ernst or somebody else for the post of Secretary of Defense. So I have shared my views on the 2 most important positions that I believe, which is Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense. Today, I will come back to you with another episode discussing some of the other appointments. Till then, take care.